I loved being in Tower of Power, but it was also, personally, it was a very challenging time for me. I unfortunately succumbed to the classic rock and roll cliche, and I got addicted to drugs and alcohol, and I really struggled with it. In 2007, I came into recovery, and I came into 12-step recovery, and I got clean and sober, and it saved my life. Until a little road bump, 7 years later, which I'll talk about a little bit because it's part of my story. But in 2009, the Navy actually reached out to me. They said, hey, we have a job with the Navy band in Annapolis, Maryland at the United States Naval Academy. And, we think you're musically qualified for this. And it'll be a promotion to E6. And you'll be able to stay in, finish out your 10 years, and get a retirement. And at that time in my life, after having just gone through a very, very challenging time and coming out the other end of it and feeling very, very grateful, it felt like going back into some kind of service position and giving back a little bit, plus being able to earn a paycheck and also a retirement sounded like it made a lot of sense. So I left Tower of Power. I went back in the Navy. I was at the United States Naval Academy for 3 years, had an incredible thing happen there with former President Jimmy Carter. And then I decided I wanted to shift gears a little bit and go into mental health. It was something, especially substance abuse counseling and helping others who had struggled with some of the same issues that I had struggled with. So the Navy had a program. They sent me to school. I got certified as a drug and alcohol counselor. And I worked at a 28-day residential treatment facility in Southern California. All of our patients were active duty. Most of them were coming back from combat, dual diagnosed with combat PTSD and some kind of substance use disorder, usually alcoholism. And it was some of the most rewarding work I think I ever did. Not just in the military, but in my life. And then in 2014, I decided to, this is hard to talk about, but I lost a very, very close family member to a heroin overdose in 2013. I no longer felt that at that time I could be effective as a counselor, especially
true rule.
Exactly. And so at my request, I was able to leave counseling. I went back to a Navy band. I struggled once more again with this disease. And then after getting clean and sober again, someone handed me a copy of Rabbi Shais Taub's book, God of Our Understanding. I think it's subtitled Jewish Spirituality and the 12 Steps of Recovery. And I read that book cover to cover within like a day. And all of a sudden everything clicked for me, because up until that point, I had my Jewish spirituality over here in this box, and I had my 12-step recovery spirituality over here in this box, but they didn't necessarily have any common ground. Right. And Rabbi Taub, in a beautiful way, brings these two together and shows exactly how compatible they really are. And that book, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that book probably saved my life.
Wow.
And I ended up becoming friends with Rabbi Taub. He was actually my escort, because my father passed away. He was my escort to the chuppah when I got married at 770, and we're in very close touch today. And he's had a huge influence on me and my life, and more than I think anybody has brought the Torah, the Rebbe, to a level that I can understand, and I'm grateful for that.
That's beautiful.